Yeah.
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Yeah, I was screwed up, so I thought I already hit something.
Right.
There's got to be a microphone symbol, and there isn't. So whatever.
Oh,
Hi,
hey.
are we the only ones?
So far, I have and I do have it live right now just because I don't know how to like it takes like a minute to like go back and forth, so I wasn't sure.
Okay.
So I don't think anybody's watching us, but you know.
You never know. Could be somebody writing a book.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah. Oh,
exciting stuff. How was your day?
it was busy.
Yeah.
Busy. Yeah. I don't know where it went, but it did. And then I had to run to Schnucks to get some stuff. And I ended up finding this giant package of toilet paper. I had somehow gotten 4 rolls, mega rolls of this before. And I thought, oh, look, it's the 4 mega rolls. And then I looked over at the aisle, and it was, how many? 12 mega rolls, which would make 3 times as many, and I couldn't find a price. And so I got somebody to give a price. It's like I took the thing home. Jardy says, huh, that's never a good sign. He said, you know, that's ultra soft, don't you? And I thought, well, yeah, supposed to be. Yeah, we're not using corn cobs or anything, you know.
Right.
So I guess we've got 48 single rolls combined into 16 of the other.
Mega rolls.
Hey, we're talking about toilet paper. Any fun stories?
Hello, ladies.
Hi.
Hello.
He didn't hear it. Yeah. Hey, Ed, you got any toilet paper stories?
Which one?
Well, yeah, which one? The one where you got the wrong kind and it's like a giant package. Doomed. Oh. Yeah, maybe I can put some on the porch, and on next door I'll say, you know, free to a good home, you know.
It'll be gone in like 5 minutes.
I know, I'm sure it will. Oh gosh. Yeah.
I did pick up more masks yesterday.
Oh, good.
They're actually N95 masks.
Wow. You can wear them frontwards and backwards, you know.
Yeah, they gave us 4,000 of them.
Oh my goodness. All in one big box, or do you have to box them up yourself, or what?
They're individually packaged this time, so we're just putting them out and saying take 10 again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty. I was shocked how nice they were. I'm like, oh, we're gonna be using these.
Yeah. Wow. Well, Bob Woodard's book is coming out called Rage, and there's a big story today that Trump lied about the pandemic and said he blew it off, and now he's all backtracking, and
yeah,
it's terrible. It's just terrible.
Ooh, I've been jabbing and not letting people in.
Uh-oh.
Here they come.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Good evening. Good evening. Kelsey will not be with us tonight.
Okay.
Who's not?
Kelsey.
Oh, okay.
Kelsey Thurman Burkemper. I had mistakenly left off our contact list. So thank you, Jenna.
You can see Lori's backyard. When you say like, is that a nice like swing? What is that?
Yeah, it's a swing that we bought during the pandemic. It's become very popular with all of the friends. So we have a lot of arrivals of children wanting to swing during recess right now. So
nice.
So Abraham wanted to come out, so I was like, okay, let's go outside.
Here comes Angela.
Hey, Angela.
Hey, Angela.
Good evening. See, we're waiting for Gary. And trying to think who, I don't know if Kathy O'Neill is going to join us tonight or not.
Yeah.
I'm not
Hey,
sure.
Angela.
How y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing okay.
We're surviving, as they say. Now,
Yeah.
Brentwood schools are going to start going back on the 21st.
Oh,
Really?
really?
Kindergarten and first grade. And then what is it? A week later is second and third, and then
Yeah, the
I think-
5th is second and third. That's all I care about is kindergarten and third. So those are the only dates I paid attention to.
middle school and
told-
high school will be in October.
Yeah, I told my husband, I said, is it sad that I'm kind of sad?
Yeah.
It's been hard, but it's also been interesting to watch them figure stuff out. So we'll see.
I think it will be helpful to a lot of families. Hope everything's safe.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I don't think the middle school, high school is going to be anywhere near ready, building wise.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No.
No.
It's a dust ball.
Oh, that's not good.
Nope.
Are they still planning on going back for those kiddos?
Yes. They're going to start second quarter in the building, October 28th, I think it is.
Fine.
I'm going to wait about another minute for Gary and
Okay.
Kathy shows up, and then we'll get into it. I am hoping that we are done by 7 o'clock at least. There's no Cardinal game, but you know.
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
Hey, isn't there Cardinals game?
The game somewhere. I don't know.
I'm reading a new book. It
Oh,
just
here's
came
Gary.
out about a pandemic,
Oh,
and it was just written. I think it's Lawrence Wright.
oh yeah.
The end of
Oh.
October, and
Is that the guy that wrote the same guy that wrote the one about the Scientology that we read?
Tower. I think he wrote The Looming Tower.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
the Looming
Never
Tower.
mind. I was thinking it was different.
It's pretty good. I'll let you know if we survive it. Speaking of Gary, how are you?
I went dark.
All right.
Hey, Gary.
I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. It's a special meeting of the library board to resolve an issue. And as usual, I have a quote. This is by Joe Godwin, who I don't know who Joe Godwin is, but she said, "A truly great library has something in it to offend everyone."
Very true.
And
Yeah.
We do our best.
I think we've done that before.
Yeah.
So
A time or two.
the purpose of tonight's meeting is to revisit briefly the tax levy rollback issue. And the reason is that we discovered that, I think it was the next day, that it would be a 2-year rollback due to the biannual assessments and tax levy assessments. And the effect, obviously, over 2 years would be a little bit different. And we're having some discussions, and there were some definite feelings both ways. And I think I outlined a lot of the feelings in my email to you. But also I had Lynn and Jenna send their feelings and their position on the issue. And what I'd like to do is to open it for discussion. And then hopefully we can move towards a motion to either extend it, make it a 2-year one, or a motion to rescind our previous action of the tax levy rollback for 1 year, which would not be really appropriate anyway. So I'd like to open a discussion, and in fact, why don't we do this? Lynn, since you made the original idea and motion, why don't you go over your arguments, your position, And then Jenna, if you would, and then if we could have a discussion after that, I think we can get things out on the table. So Lynn, if you would.
Okay.
Could I butt in here for a minute? Ed, is this something that we are putting out for public? Are we recording this for the public, or is this just a closed session?
Oh, I paused the thing, but it's live, so
Which means what?
this is public.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so I sent out numbers to everybody that does reflect the 3-cent rollback. When I actually put the 3 cents in the spreadsheet, it came back to, I think I was saying 815,000, and it's really 829,000 that we're going to be collecting if we choose to do that. And then that would go up an additional 1% for 2021 from the 829,000. So, assuming that we spend budget, which we haven't done in a number of years, but assuming we've spent the full budget over the next 2 years and only collected the lower amount, we would still have $527,000 above and beyond a year's worth of operating reserves. That sounds to me like it should be sufficient, but it does not take into consideration the increase from whatever the city might decide to do. Based on assuming that they're probably not going to charge us more than $5,000 a month coming from $500 a month, our surplus would only be $419,000 if we still went through with this and spent all of our budget each year. Since it doesn't feel like we're going to have a building or new space that we're going to need money for in the next year or two, I didn't feel like this was going to be that much of an issue for us to keep that much surplus. Because the other thing we can always do, we are safeguarding 1 full year of our operating expenses, and legally or advisedly, we could cut that back to 6 months instead of the full year, which by 2022, we're going to pick up, we could utilize another $400,000 out of that, which if a building space was available, that would put us still at $800,000 to put towards building, moving, new things that we would need for it, so on and so forth. I just feel like it would be significant to let the community know that we are being mindful of the money that we are collecting and giving them a break during this time that so many people are hurting. And even if we go back up, and the reality is it's not that much money from a taxpayer perspective. So if it doesn't happen, it's not, it's on average $25 a household. I don't think people will really notice that it goes down, and I don't think people will really notice that it goes back up in 2 years. But I just feel like since we've been pretty open and generous with everything else we've done, I just feel like a rollback would be continuing that generosity.
Lynn, if I may ask, so we're talking again, approximately 100,000 a year, am I right?
Just under, yes.
Over the next 2 years. And
Right.
you're saying we will have no problem with as far as you can see, with operating cash, meeting budget needs, etc. If we were to roll it back and everything. What about the idea though of building up our reserve account in order to, so when we do find a new location, we'll have more in our reserve account to apply towards that. What's your thought about that?
Well, again, I think we can pull out of the operating reserves. Even if we reduced it, we could pick up almost $400,000 if we cut it in half. So even if we cut it back to 9 months-ish, we're still going to be able to pick up another $200,000 out of that account. So at the end of 2022, 2021, we'd be looking at the 400,000 plus, if you picked up 2 out of the operational, we're still looking at 600,000 towards new space.
Over 2 years?
At the end of 2 years. So it'd be 600 versus almost 800,000. Not knowing exactly what it's going to take to buy something. I mean, that's kind of the direction we all have been discussing, simply because we know that there's not the location of the library within City Hall. There's no way for us to expand soundly. We've got 3-foot brick wall or cement walls to break through. We'd have to, if we were to try and use the upper floors that aren't used, then that creates a whole new havoc. So it doesn't seem like that's going to be a good idea for us to renovate where we are. So that means a new building. And I don't know the mechanics. I don't know what the going rate is, whether we want to do something where we want to buy it outright or whether we want to be leasing it. I can't remember. I looked at Artmark because they're for sale right now, but they only have about 15,000 square feet. And I want to say that was only $400,000 or $500,000. Now, I'm also assuming that we would be able to get a mortgage just like anybody else can for the purpose of buying a building. Certainly with a hefty chunk down, I would think that that's doable as well.
Yeah.
But I think more than just the purchase price, we're also looking at remodeling or refurbishing the building, updating it, and it's going to take a lot of furnishings and shelving to make that what we want it to be.
And I have no idea what the cost of physically moving our entire collection would be. I imagine that's going to be high too.
Yeah, moving costs are really high. So if we're looking at purchase price of, well, you said Artmark's $400,000 to $500,000. I think we ought to triple that as a goal to have in reserve.
Okay, at least that's something to shoot for.
Yeah, there was talk about the, the church that's been bandied about over the last year from Bola. And she was saying that it would probably be $1 million.
Just to buy.
Yeah.
Not to tear down or rehab her.
Right.
Jenna, why don't you go ahead? Lynn, can we move on to Jenna's presentation and then we can open up to even more questions and discussion as we need to. So Jenna, I know you sent something out also.
Yeah, mostly what I sent out was my, I did give you a table so you could see what the tax rates were. And that like in 2012, we have already rolled back the tax rate.
2012 is the year that the city did it for us.
Right, but then, well, yeah.
No, they did it without our permission and without us even knowing that we were allowed to. And by the time we found out, it was too late to make changes.
Oh, hello, doggy.
So that was the city's prerogative, and we didn't know better.
Somebody get comment out of here.
Oh, hi guys. I don't know you. I went hi.
Let's see. So.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. So yeah, I'll just say I just feel like unsure just because of the unknown costs. That's my main concern, and that's mostly it's the not knowing how the health insurance is going to play out. Not knowing how much our loggers pension thing is going to be. But I mean, I don't know. Looking at your numbers made me feel better because I don't think that we're going to not have money to do those things. But that also might mean that we're not going to have as much money to put towards the new building then, which is, you know, what we're really ultimately aiming for, and which I think would probably mean more to people than the, you know, $24. But I don't know, you know, I also know if that would help, I would want to help. That's a sticky point, you know, I just don't know. Like you
Do you
said,
have an
people
idea?
notice it.
Do you have an idea of what kind of reserve you would feel comfortable with?
I mean, like, how much do we have right now? I feel like right now we would have enough with our savings that we could probably purchase land, right?
Sure.
So, but then we wouldn't be able to build and have furnishings. So, I mean, I'm not sure, because I don't know what the going rate is right now of the, you know, like a new building versus a rehab building. I did have somebody looking at, last fall, I had somebody, a realtor, who was giving me like he was looking at different Brentwood lots and showing me what stuff was going for. But it, you know, none of it was stuff that we could use. We'd have to build.
Yeah.
It's always the problem
And
where we are.
It really, really varies.
Yeah.
I just pulled up a website, LoopNet. There's a 2,600 square foot space in the industrial court that they want $400,000 for.
Yeah, and the industrial court.
3,500 square foot space of the new Aspen Dental, they want $2.1 million. Really? And there's no parking.
Oh,
Yeah.
Rock Hill Industrial Court. Is that really Brentwood?
What's the name of it?
It's a Rock Hill
Rock Hill?
Industrial Court.
I don't think so.
We might have the same zip code though, because there is some.
Yeah.
Down by,
Yeah.
63144 Rock Hill.
They
Yeah.
have a building that's 27,000 square feet and they want 1.9 million for it.
Yeah.
I'd pay 1.9 for that before I pay 2 million for 350,000 or 3,500 square feet.
Yeah.
Um,
I guess my concern, my main concern would just be, you know, what it's, if we're doing it for the library, you know, we're supposed to be doing this for the library. What does that, you know, what is that? How is that going to play out? Is it better to do this for goodwill? Or, I mean, is it goodwill or is it really helping people? I guess that's what I want to know, you know, like what people think about that. Is it a help? I mean, do you feel like, as, you know, taxpayers, that you would rather, like, you know, that's, you know, I think from my perspective, and maybe it's because I'm a librarian, I don't know, but even as just a taxpayer, I think that I would, you know, I've already told the library I want them to have that money, you know, yeah, so.
I don't think the word is out yet that we were considering the rollback, so I don't think there's any kind of a problem if we decided not to at this point. And of course, we're eliminating the fines. That's got to be received well by the community. And I think, you know, certainly one of the questions, a big question is, if we are really planning to get a new space, drastically renovate, which we can't do much there, we need to start saving money.
Do we have any clue about what might the pension costs go up? Like if they, like how much of our pension costs and if we double them? I'm just trying to get a ballpark.
I don't know, because right now, oh wait, you know what? I don't know if is that broken out on the.
It's okay. I just wondered.
Okay, I would have to look, yeah, because I'm not sure. I mean, I did know that I already applied for them to look at it, you know, to give us a quote, and we haven't gotten it back yet. Our pool is smaller, so I'm not sure what that means, honestly.
We know some expenses are going to go up as a result of the lease negotiations and the transfer over to accounting services and everything. I think, Lynn, you've indicated, Lynn, your thinking is that we're okay, we can cover this, whatever is a reasonable increase in our expenses and everything, but I think, Jenna, am I right that you're concerned? Well, it's still not definitely known, and you know,
Yeah, it's just the unknown makes you.
the pandemic.
Yeah, and then like, is the housing market gonna tank? You know, like, I don't know. There's that.
From what I can see, it seems like people are still buying and selling through all of this.
Yeah, but it's
Oh,
so
yeah.
super inflated. I feel like it's, it just feels scary like before. But no one knows. That's the thing. It's just all unknown, and that's what makes it, scary. But I mean, I do agree that I think we have enough money to exist and exist well for a couple of years. The downside of it would be not banking extra money for a building.
It
That
might
to me
take an
is-
extra year or two to get those extra funds for a building. So,
If we
I
found
think
a
that's what it
property-
comes down to is how important is a new building and how soon do we want it?
Yeah,
Well,
that was going to be my question. What's the realistic timeline for a new building? So, I mean, is it, I just asked that because like when we bought our house 5 years ago, I found it on a Sunday and we bought it on a Thursday
Yeah.
because that's the way it worked.
Yeah.
Everything. And so it's like, is it a matter of having that money so that if some magical unicorn pops up and is exactly what we want, we can put money down on it. Can you tell I live with children? We could put money down and say, we do want to buy this before somebody else comes and snatches it up. But I know that's the housing market. I don't know what that looks like on the commercial side. So is it
Yeah.
realistic to think we could find a place in the next 2 years that would be something ideal or something near ideal that we'd want to try to get? So that's kind of my thinking. Like for me, when I think about a building, it's like it feels further away in my brain, but I'm also newer to the group. So you guys have been thinking about this for a while, and it's just entered my head a year ago. So, so I guess that's my question: is that it's kind of like the battle of if we find that perfect one, we're gonna want that money that requires everybody paying that extra $25. And are we doing it to save people $25, or are we doing it to say, see, the library cares about you?
That's what
I
I
guess
want.
that's the
Yeah.
other. I guess that's my other question. And we do care about them. I'm not saying we don't. I'm just saying, like, because I'm not going to notice the $25.
Right.
So that
think
feels
a good
harsh, but
question
it's true.
That is, if something did magically appear, I didn't know Art Mart was for sale, but and things like that. If
I didn't know.
that suddenly comes up, do we have the money? Do we have as much money as we can get legally, and put forth toward that purchase, acquisition, whatever? And with the pandemic affecting businesses so much, something may come up much
That's
sooner than
true.
I thought.
Right.
I don't know.
That's true. I didn't think about that really, but yeah.
Well, the other thing that I was thinking, when we were planning on doing this collaboration with the school district
Mm-hmm.
on part of a building, and that would have been a new construction, of course, but I think our part of that and I forget the actual square footage, but it's somewhere around what we needed, 15 to 18,000 square feet.
Yeah.
That was going to be $3 million.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
And we were
and I-
thinking about 500,000 for moving in additional fixtures.
Yeah. So I'm thinking if something were to magically appear, which could happen tomorrow, it could happen next month, it could happen in 3 years. I don't know. But I think when that does appear, we need to have, I don't know, in my mind, 20% is what we do residentially, have 20% ready to lock that property in. And 20% of 3 million would be $600,000. So that would lock in the property, but it doesn't give us the rest of the stuff.
Right.
I'm kind of thinking we need to stay on track.
What does that mean? exactly.
Staying with the rates as they are, with what we can get and keep building. It's not that much difference to the individual household. But yet it puts us in position to be able to do what we started doing all this for.
And by the rollback, it's probably not going to be $24. It's going to be, if you live in a bigger house, it's going to
Right.
be, it's not going to be the, you know.
That's
For
that's
big
simply
house
100
people, that's great.
You feel confident now, don't you? I'm leaning towards, what I'd like to have is to not rolling it back. Because the more I think about the pensions and the, I'm not so worried about the rent, because I don't think they're going to jack it to 5,000. But the accounting and the I know we have the money, but right now I'm leaning towards don't roll it back. So just so that
I think that's where I am.
That's where I am too. I don't feel like the amount of money that would change with a rollback is really going to be all that important to the residents, because they're hopefully going to be getting something even better eventually. It's hard to figure that out, and I don't have a whole lot of money, and the $25 doesn't mean anything to me. I'd rather have a good library. And not also, I think somebody said this back on at our meeting last week, that if we roll back for a couple of years and then we rescind all that after 2 years, I think maybe it was Ed's words, what does that say to the public? Well, we really helped you, but we really didn't. And I wonder if that's how it would be interpreted. Sort of like, well, we're going to do this nice thing, but then it's not that it's unnice to go back to where we were before. We might even have to go higher with the tax levy. I just feel like, I don't know. I think we should just leave well enough alone right now and focus more on what we can do to get what we want.
And the other thing is, who would we really be helping, the taxpayer, or would we be helping the city?
Good question.
City has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, but
where does that uncollected tax go?
It doesn't get collected. It stays in the taxpayer's pockets.
Yeah.
It comes out right at the assessment,
Yes.
or at the collection?
It comes out at the bill. The bill would be lower to the taxpayer.
One thing though, along that lines is, if we were to roll back and the city didn't roll back, then the city might be thinking, oh, you're making us look bad because you're and we're not. So maybe we just all, recognize that this is a tough time, but we're going to move ahead at our present rates. And then we are going to focus on trying to find a place and spend our money wisely on a new location for the city. But
well, this could go on forever. 2 steps
That's
forward,
true.
3 steps back, that thing. And we don't know what's going to happen at the end of this rollback time.
Hey, November we get a vaccine, it all goes away.
Angela, I know you're overwhelmed. What do you have any thoughts?
Yeah,
That things may drag.
like you guys have said, I'm new to the fight too, so I had no idea you guys were even looking for a new place, which is great. Bigger, better, great, more capacity, all for that. So I definitely feel the same way now that I've heard the $25 thing. So I would definitely lean towards the way of just keeping it in the way it is.
I would like a motion from someone, and the consensus seems to be a motion to rescind our previous action for a tax levy rollback and to proceed at the current maximum tax levy rate. Somebody make a motion to that effect?
I'll make that motion.
A second?
Jeanette says yes. Motion second.
Any other discussion on it? And I just want to say thank you very much to everybody who contributed this discussion, and Lynn and Jenna, I know you put a lot of thought in things on paper, and I think this is
Yes.
going to be part of an ongoing discussion on.
Yes,
How we
thank
can
you
best-
very much, both of you.
Thank you.
I was really impressed. Yeah.
Very.
It was really.
It was
to go
helpful.
between the two. It was like,
Right.
so.
Very informative.
Yes, it was super helpful. I just have one more comment that in deciding to not roll back, I just want it to like be said that it's in the interest of our patrons of the library to
Right.
give a better product sooner so we can do more program, we can have more materials. So it's not in our own personal interest, it's in the interest
No.
of creating something better for the community. So I just wanted that to be like said flat. That we will steward the money to create something that will serve everybody. So that's all. Now get off my soapbox.
Any other discussion? If not, Cindy, can you do a roll call vote on this, please?
Yeah, can I just say, read this, that we want, a motion was made to rescind our previous decision to roll back the tax levy. Should I say through what year, or just the current tax levy? How
The
would that?
current tax levy.
Current tax levy, okay. And continue at the current rate of
That's correct.
our previous, our present tax levy,
Correct.
okay? Okay. So roll call vote. Ed,
Yes.
Jeanette,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Cindy, yes. Lori?
Yes.
Angela?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's all the trustees. I don't know, Jenna, do you get a vote on this? No.
Okay, well, thank you.
So,
Thank you very
unanimous.
much. It's
Thank
7:00,
you.
so
Thank
we
you. I would like to say that Lynn says she thinks she's going to get off the board, but that's not happening. And neither
No.
Cindy. And Cindy cannot retire as secretary. Or you, Ed, but
Here's what we can do, Lynn. You can become the secretary and I'll become the treasurer. I'll be terrible at it. Can't. We'll really do each other's jobs, okay?
Oh, I don't know, Jeanette, math
Jeanette,
teacher.
figure out how to change the rules.
oh my gosh, I know. I know.
Yeah.
I just want to be sergeant at arms for the next time we have problems at the meeting, but you know, that's okay. All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
You're not going to entertain that motion to freeze officers for the next 3 years?
No, that it wasn't on the board.
It's September, no freezing.
So Gary,
I
you,
tried.
Gary,
Motion
you,
and a second to adjourn.
me,
Yes.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
We'll
Thank
be-
you.
Yay.
Good night, everybody.
Good
night.
night. Thank
Good night.
you.
Thanks.
Bye.